That way we can minimize the background noise.
It's James.
Yeah, I think that's
James, that's you.
Oh, sorry. Background noise?
the mute is on the bottom left,
Yeah,
James.
bottom left. There we go.
Wonderful.
And
Okay.
the meeting is now, it has now started on YouTube, so Claire can start whenever she'd like.
Okay, welcome everyone to the October 5th, 2020 meeting of the CV6 Transportation Committee. My name is Claire Brennan and I will be chairing the committee tonight. This meeting is called to order at 7:02 p.m. And tonight we are joined by Community Associate Brendan Berth. Members of the public, you can raise any questions or comments that you have through the question and answer feature of Zoom. If there is time following the committee's discussion, we'll field questions from the public. No one has volunteered to take minutes for tonight's meeting. Committee members, if you
Nope,
are,
not true. Last month, I
you're right,
volunteered
Ann.
and
Thank you,
am
Ann.
prepared to do it.
Wonderful. Okay, so
Though I had second thoughts when I saw the agenda.
I think it's an easy one. Well, I wish you well on that task and I appreciate you stepping up. Just a side note, I think we'll be sending out another doodle poll for folks to sign up in advance after this meeting. But now we will take attendance by roll call. Brendan will conduct the roll call.
Committee members, I will call your name and you will unmute yourselves. When your name is called, please say present. I will announce if there is quorum. Claire Brennan,
I'm here.
Jean Santoro,
Here.
Joan Berenbaum,
Present.
V. Disman,
Present.
Charles Fernandez,
Present.
Andrew Gross.
Present.
Okay. Molly Hollister,
Here.
Yusuf Khalid,
Unmute, it's unmuted. So
Present.
okay. Sandy McKee,
Present.
it's is the picture thing?
Phil Napolitano, okay, I did see Phil, so he is present. Matt Roberts,
Present.
Larry Shire,
Present.
Ann Seligman,
Here.
Brian Van Nieuwenhoven,
Present.
Ronnie White, Ronnie, Bob Cohen, Bob Cohen.
I saw Ronnie in the participants list. In the
Okay, well,
panelist list.
I'll check.
Okay.
And James Wilson,
Present.
there is quorum.
Okay, I think we have to get James muted again.
Yeah, if James, the mute button is bottom left.
Button is the bottom left.
Also, Brendan, do you have the ability to do that? To mute?
Let me, there we go.
Wonderful. Okay. Thank you. The agenda for tonight's meeting was distributed ahead of time by the board office and appears on the screen before you. If there's no objection, we will adopt the agenda as stated. Members of the committee, if you object to adopting the agenda, you may raise your hand through Zoom. Seeing no objections, the agenda for tonight's meeting is adopted.
James, can you mute yourself?
Yes.
Very loud.
James, present.
Oh, no, you need to mute yourself. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
I muted things.
Sorry.
Okay, so the agenda has been adopted. The minutes from the September 2nd meeting were distributed ahead of time by the board office. If there's no objection to these, we will adopt these minutes. Committee members, if you object to adopting these minutes, you may raise your hand through Zoom. Seeing no objections, the September 2nd meeting minutes are adopted. They will soon be available on the CV6 website. Okay, thank you. In order to conduct an efficient meeting, we'll observe a few ground rules. These have been in effect for a while now, but I'll just remind us all of what we're expected here. No one may speak until granted the floor. Committee members, if you have a question about committee business or wish to make a motion, please raise your hand through Zoom. Excuse me. If you click the participants icon, the participants panel should appear and you should find the raise hand function there. If you still have technical difficulty, you may click the chat icon and relay your difficulty. The chat function should not be used for committee business or questions about agenda topics. All such remarks should be made on the record by raising your hand through Zoom. Chat should only be used to alert us of any technical difficulties you are having or to state in writing information like an email address that was already stated aloud on the record during the meeting. When a committee member is given the floor to speak, I will identify you and you can unmute yourself so that you can speak. And finally, we are required by executive order to create a verbatim transcript of the meeting. So please keep your questions and comments succinct and germane to the discussion. So we saw the agenda and I think we are ready to officially begin. So Hiroki is here to present on the redesign of the 37th Street FDR underpass. And I'm going to pass the mic over to him. And I think there's a few slides that he wanted to share. So I don't know if Brendan's pulling those up or.
How to do
Brendan, are you able to pull the slides up?
Yes, I can do that right now. Just a moment. Okay, there we go.
This is the do you see?
We can see it, yeah.
Hello, everybody.
But actually, I think we're on the third slide. So maybe if you start, is that?
Do you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Thank you for allowing me to present some idea that I have. And I'm a resident near UN and helping organization of Brick and Glick Park. And then I'm an architect. I love gardens, so I go to Glick Park so many times, but I always have some unhappy moment. Let me explain it. And then can I see? Let me explain a little bit the current situation. No, Sandy. No, I saw you. Okay. You know the Glick Parks. This is. I'm sorry. The hand, small hand shows the FDR, and then actually this drawing is cutting out the road above. And then upper part is East River, and the bottom is the street, 37th Street. And then the problem is, for me, is it's very dangerous because the cars here coming out from the FDR misunderstand, I guess, This is the extension of FDR. So they are very fast. Instead of, they should understand this is a street, a city street, not FDR, but very fast. On the other hand, this side, Riverside, also similar thing is happening, but slightly better. So I will show you the image, what's going on now. Sorry, here. This is from underpass. So you see the car coming very fast and then go through in front of you and then disappear. This is a city side. And the bottom one is from the picture from city side. So from going to the underpass is not so dangerous, not the problem, because you can see cars are coming. But from the underpass, it's so dark and the visibility is very bad. And then also, not for us, the car don't recognize us. As you see, this part, but this bus is not moving, so it looks okay, but consider this bus is running very fast. And then you are standing here. Currently, this part is the opening entrance, and the next one too. Next picture shows this, and this is opening. So people go through this, but the cars coming down from the FDR cannot recognize you very well. And only people rely on traffic sign for car side, also pedestrian side. And I believe somebody someday will have an accident. And this is the bird's eye. So you see, this is actually already proposal was reflected, sorry. And the idea is people are coming now from here. So this part blocks the view from the car. So instead, bring the people out from here, central part, and then make a kind of diagonal path. Same, unfortunately, Riverside, it's people use the central part. So that's why actually it's not so dangerous. And this is the view from the street side. So the blue car on the left-hand side is parking, stopping. And then also they can see the pedestrian coming out. And then this is a view from the car, this part. So you see my proposal is to extend you see the curve a little bit, like projecting from the FDR. So people come here, pedestrian comes here, and then the car driver, this is a view from the car, can see, someone is there. The current condition is actually shown. You see there's some hand or something here. This is the condition, the existing condition. You may be able to catch somebody is coming out, but actually you are moving so fast you don't notice. And then this guy may come out, may not come out. That's only predictable, not predictable actually, through your sign is just green, but you never know. And then the other. And this is from the street, pedestrian side. The yellow cab and that blue car is approaching, but you are outside of this FDR wall, so you can see the car is coming or stopping. There's a signal here, a sign, so they may be not moving, but it's not so easy for you to recognize under the FDR. So you see that something red round thing, is a little bit extended to the street side, street. So you can stand up and then confirm the car is coming or staying there. And also, if this red thing, I don't know the color right now, but this is extending a little bit, so car automatically recognize it and then slow down, hopefully. That's the idea. And then the other side also, the other side means riverside is also something and similar. At this moment, people goes out from the central part, like this girl, but also the other problem is this guard, concrete guard, is covering up to this column, and then the other side is also not concrete guard, and then also protection of the column extended this way, some way here. So even car approaching, you don't see the cars. So you may, there's a sign, actually, the sign, traffic sign is here, but you may miss it. You know, New Yorkers are very bad to respect traffic signs. So, and also some blind people may have a problem. But anyway, sorry. Sorry, maybe. Yeah, existing, I will show you some existing condition. This one, this is from the Glick Park. And this is what I said, the protection of this column. And the concrete guard is coming overlapping this existing columns. So the car, you know, like a cab, you don't see the body because of this. And so first idea is taking out the whole thing and then put some decent protection here. And then basically maximize the visibility and then give the drivers caution. This is a pedestrian. And then this street, this is not an extension of FDR. This is a street. Some sign, you know, visual sign like that instead of a sign, signage. That's the basic idea. And then, and also, I think it's a good chance to put some device to make this space nicer, because it's so dark and then dirty, and you know, it's like a jail here. So we can take it out and then make this entrance like a welcoming gate to the Glick Park. At this moment, it's not like that. It's really discouraging. And that's it. Thank you for listening to me. Did you catch?
Thank you so much for the presentation. I think that the committee members can definitely agree that this needs a serious upgrade, and I think your ideas are welcome and beautiful.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. Thank you for coming and
Thank you.
presenting to us. I see a few raised hands, so I'm just going to call on the order that they're up in the line. Jean?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that one of the reasons we were interested in this, besides the fact that it's beautiful in itself, was that we're thinking about this in terms of the shovel-ready stuff that we spoke about. It's another project to put online to get DOT to study the area. We've been pushing for them to do something about this for years with no success. And so if this is a way to get them moving when the money comes, if the money comes, we've got another project lined up that they can throw it at, and we can get something that we really need out of it, because people do hate that space. That's it.
Thanks, Jean. Andrew?
Hi. So first of all, Hiroki, I just want to say that this is an amazing presentation, and I'm a pretty avid runner, and I run actually all the time in this space. I'm very familiar with this space. And I was involved about a month ago with a person who was hit by a car at this space, who was very seriously injured. I was there like about probably 2 minutes after they got hit by a car, trying to cross from the river side there. And I actually ran and got police from the ferry to bring them this, this person had like I think a head injury. So this space is not, it's not just about visual, as you very eloquently put it, it's about safety. And when, last time we looked at, for example, another infrastructure project, like a nice bridge, which I think, as Jean said, is very nice to plan ahead. I actually look at this as a serious safety issue, both for cyclists and for pedestrians. I go through here at least probably three times a week. And every single time I cross the street, I feel like I'm risking my life. There's probably no more dangerous place in our district to be a pedestrian, short of maybe the Midtown Tunnel, crossing in this spot. I also think that the other problem we have in this spot, which you are addressing here, which has come up time and again, we keep putting Band-Aids on it, is this spot is full of homeless people. And I feel very bad for them, but you can even see it in your photos. It's basically an encampment, and it's really disgusting. And what I think this space does, and Hiroki, tell me if you disagree with my assessment, but I think that by bringing in natural sunlight and by bringing in light into the space, I think it naturally deters people from like trying to sleep in there. I think that in addition to that, we as a board will need to, if this is done, I think we need to think about how to put like lighting in here, maybe at night, to make sure that it doesn't become another encampment. Because if the city is going to invest in something beautiful like this, and also importantly, again, for our safety, we have to make sure that it doesn't become an encampment. And I think that that's, it's important. Maybe Hiroki, maybe if you have a thought, if I can ask how this space maybe would naturally prevent, or if there's anything we can do to make sure it doesn't become like a homeless living space, is important. But again, thank you. I think this is critically needed.
I agree, totally agree. I kind of skipped the presentation of the design inside because I thought I didn't have.
Yeah, I think that this is kind of more conceptual. So maybe if you have an answer to the lighting question, but then we'll keep the agenda moving.
Okay. Yeah, he's muted. So.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, Hiroki, you're muted.
Yeah. Sorry.
No problem. It's not easy.
By accident. This is the first time for me to use Zoom. Anyway.
You're doing a great job. Thank you.
Like this, the problem of the space is too dark. So I ripped off whole everything that makes inside the shadow or dark. So one of the idea is to put the refractive material on the ceiling, and then the light comes in between. Basically, this black part is vacant, nothing. And the light comes in between lights. And then this circle is refractive material like stainless steel, polished stainless steel or something. So the light from the street side and also a river side, park side goes in and then reflected down. So the whole thing is brighter. That's the idea.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Anne? And also, I just want to reiterate for everyone, again, this is just a concept and we're not really talking about specific details of the project because DOT will plan and actually execute, but Anne took her hand down. So Larry.
No.
Oh, you didn't? No, okay.
I unmuted and I think someone else took it down.
Yeah,
I think this is great. I think this is a really tricky area. One of the things that we haven't talked about a ton that I think makes it so complex is the interaction for cars, pedestrians, and cyclists. And so there's kind of two things about that. I know that it is not the preferred route, but certainly cyclists come along the FDR, the access road, and they're typically come along the right because they've been avoiding the traffic coming from the left, and then they cross over to get in. So there's just a mixing zone there that's tricky. And I think maybe that's exacerbated if you're trying to funnel kind of all of the traffic into a central entrance and exit. And while I agree, it definitely improves the sight lines, and that's, really important. There's kind of this other element there that I think would need to be incorporated in any, kind of fuller design.
Okay, thank you, Anne. Larry, did you have a question?
Well, I'd like to make a comment.
Okay.
The concave mirrors on the roof are very intriguing to me, and it reminds me a little bit about our discussions previously when the 37th Street bike path was under consideration by this committee. I had suggested a convex mirror on the outside to help people who are in the underpass see where the vehicles were before they stuck their heads out. So that's why Hiroki's idea here is so impressive to me. DOT didn't investigate or do anything with that idea. And this, by physically moving the entrance to a very much more visible location, does solve that problem. So I wanted to commend him for that. Thank you, Hiroki.
Okay, thank you. Brian?
Just also wanted to add a comment, just to say that in terms of what was mentioned earlier about potential occupation of the space and encampments, I think that our priorities are to design a space that is functional for the public and try not to get mixed up in anti-patterns and hostility features to try to keep people out of the space. I think that if we have a problem with encampments, it means that we need to build more housing. So that would be our focus. But thank you for designing a nice open space that seems to be an improvement over what we have now.
Thanks, Brian. I agree with that. B had a question. B, you might need to unmute yourself.
But actually, I come suggestion. I have to tell you, I've been meeting a number of community board members. I thought I did.
Sorry,
I'm
you did.
unmuted.
You did.
Do you hear
I
me?
hear you. Yep. Sorry, B.
I've been meeting a number of community board members at Glick Park. And I actually have to tell you, because I don't spend a lot of time at that part of our community board, I actually thought it looked like a derelict park. The darkness and the safety was really an issue. To even cross, because I'm not sighted in one eye, that was a major concern for me to cross over. I think the design that's presented highlights what the deficits are. And I think, as said before, this is a concept. It's a concept that would have to be worked out. So I would actually recommend that we do a resolution, that we deal with the issues of Glick Park and we deal with the safety, the lighting, and make it a community park. I think having something shovel ready is going to be very significant. Thank you.
I'll second B's motion.
Okay. We do have a few questions from the public. I think I'm seeing some written in here, and then I see one member of the public who has their hand raised.
One of the people who has their hand raised has also asked some questions in the Q&A feature, so I can, I can,
What?
if you'd like, I can just read off some of the
Sure.
questions.
Okay.
So one question is, isn't the pedestrian bulb a driving hazard projecting into the street? And then it asks, what does DOT think of this? I know it's really a concept.
Right. Maybe since that's like kind of more focusing on the details of the concept, we might want to skip that one. I'm trying to read these, sorry. Yeah, there's a lot of confirmation that this area is an issue.
Yeah. Also, a remark saying, also there is no curb cut for bikes to roll up onto or wheelchairs. It is not ADA compliant. So I guess it's a statement, but I guess a question of what sort of ADA compliance there will be for the for pedestrians.
Yes, I know it's not totally ADA compliant yet, but we will study more and then definitely make it work, like slope or eliminating sharp edge and also color. So and this study is very primitive, so we will keep studying. I will keep studying.
That's great. And I'm seeing the other questions are about like lighting and getting back to kind of thinking about
Yes.
folks. So I think that certainly if a member of the public has a specific question, they can read it or send an email to the board office. But I'm wondering, is Colleen here and listening to this? Are there any?
Hi, Claire, it's Colleen. I'm here listening. How is everybody? I want to say the conceptual, okay, Hiroki, I want to say the conceptual design is very beautiful considering what's really there now. And, this particular area, I know DOT, we maintain the lights under the underpass, but I believe the underpass is part of the park's jurisdiction. And I believe the state is also have some jurisdiction. And in terms of the roadway, yes, that would be DOT. So it's a collaboration between 3 agencies. But I'm going to find out from my office if there's any interim or upcoming projects for this particular area, and I will let the community board know. But in the meantime, Brendan, if you can forward the presentation to me tonight, and I'll share it with my colleagues, and we'll have a discussion about it, okay?
Will do.
Thank you very much.
And I think, Colleen, with that conversation, if there's anything that can be added like immediately to help this situation, because a lot of the chats and questions are, and I've witnessed it too, it's a dangerous situation. So maybe we could get something in there as soon as possible and then think about a complete redesign.
Yeah, I know one constituent is advocating for a speed hump in the area, for example, just to give a taste of one of the types of safety improvements that are on people's minds.
Okay, so that could be something brought up, but I think B suggested that we write a resolution and Jean seconded it. So we should take a vote now on approving.
B, are you offering to rate that, Rezo?
Well, let's do the vote first and then we can figure out who is going to write it if it is happening. So we'll now vote on requesting that DOT studies this area and create some alternatives and improvements by roll call. When your name is called for, you can unmute yourself and say yay, nay, abstain, or not entitled. Brendan, do you mind taking the roll call for that?
Claire Brennan.
Not entitled.
Okay. Jean Santoro.
Aye.
Joan Berenbaum.
Aye.
B. Disman.
Aye.
Charles Fernandez.
Aye.
Andrew Gross.
Aye.
Okay. Molly Hollister.
Aye.
Yusuf Khalid.
Aye.
Sandy McKee.
Aye.
Phil Napolitano.
Aye.
Matt Roberts.
Aye.
Larry Shire.
Aye.
Ann Seligman. Ann? Might be on mute. I'll.
Aye. Sorry.
All good. Brian Van Nieuwenhoven.
Yes. Aye.
Ronnie White.
Aye.
Bob Cohen. Bob Cohen. And James Wilson. James, you might be on mute.
I don't see him anymore. Oh, there, James.
Yeah,
Hmm.
you should be. Yeah, the unmute button's at the bottom left. I also tried unmuting you. The resolution has passed, by the way. I just want to make sure I get James's vote.
Thank you.
And
Aye.
what's your vote?
Everybody voted. Aye.
They didn't hear you. Okay.
resolution
I heard him
passes.
say aye.
Brendan, what's the count?
The count is, just a moment. It is 15 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstain, 1 not entitled.
Well, thanks.
And do we have a volunteer of who might want to write this resolution or is available to? Don't all jump at once. Larry.
I'll do it.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
So can I ask the question, do we lose everyone's picture? Because everything's black on my screen.
Oh, I'm seeing us all. Maybe if you flip through somehow, are you on an iPad or a?
I'm on an iPad. I saw Ann before, just lost her.
I think they got rid of the presentation, so I don't know.
Maybe you're looking at speaker view and you want to have like gallery view.
No, I'm gallery. All right, I will see if it comes back. Thank
Maybe,
you.
yeah. Sorry about
It
that. Okay, so we will now move to the next item on the agenda, which is a discussion on speeding and red light cameras in our district. So this is has been a little bit ongoing. We've been talking about it, I think in new business in the past, and I think some of us have also been conversing offline about this issue. And with, the change in travel patterns and more folks, unfortunately, relying on car use, there has been an uptick in speeding witnessed like anecdotally, but also Brad Hoylman has introduced a bill that we kind of discussed already that is focusing on like racing in general. And I'm not sure that that's actually the issue with us. It's more of individuals just speeding, but we don't really, the red light cameras aren't, rightfully so, published widely, because then folks will slow down for that one block and then continue speeding. But I think that there's something that our committee should probably be doing in order to combat this and try to prevent reckless driving. So I'm not sure if that's, writing a resolution to request more speed cameras or to support Brad Hoylman's act, which also extends the use of them on the weekends and outside of school hours. But I'm seeing some folks having wanting to speak to this issue as well. So maybe Sandy, you can say a few things.
I'm pretty sure that we did write a resolution in the past asking for cameras. And I think the issue really is that we just need many more cameras in the district. And if I recall, I think we are limited by the state. Colleen may be able to address this because certainly.
That's correct. There's a cap and you're limited by the state assembly member. So if you want increase, it's more of a legislative issue. That's correct, Sandy.
So if there's a way that we can address this with our, that's probably, I mean, we've already written the resolution. I'm not sure if we can write a follow-up to it that addresses, really highlights how this fits this particular point in time.
Yeah, and I wonder who the resolution went to. Maybe it didn't go to the assembly member, so we could forward it to them. I don't know. Andrew had his hand up.
Yeah, so I guess I'm waiting for my camera to turn on. I'm not saying in a challenging way here, but if we want people to stop speeding, I think the question's also, red light cameras, right? Like, do they actually make people slow down? And I think, right. And I think, and so I'm not necessarily saying like I'm opposed to more red light cameras. I think that they have use. I mean, they create tickets for some people, and the city maybe will make money, right? But I think that if we want like enforcement of or make people slow down, I really think that's probably more of a police visibility matter. Like when you see the New York City Highway Patrol out on like the FDR, right? I think that's a very visible deterrent for people. I'm just posing, like, I don't know that.
I completely hear you, but I'm pretty sure that they're like proven effective, and also traffic stops are proven to be disproportionately given to folks of color and Black and brown people. And
I didn't say traffic stops. I didn't say traffic stops. I said visibility of police. I'm not suggesting that we stop people. That's not what I said. I don't want to go there.
No problem.
Visibility, it's different. But I appreciate your thought, and I think that again, I think that red light cameras have some use, but I'm not sure that they are the answer to this issue. And I agree that speeding is a problem.
Okay. Does anyone else on the committee have something to add? Sandy?
I just want to follow up with what Andrew said, that we actually did invite the police, and they mentioned that it was special training to do this type of speeding and documenting speeding. But also, I think in New York, there are a lot of people, like there's a whole series of lawyers that will get you out of your speeding ticket. So it's a bit of it's a fairly complex issue. And not that we shouldn't try again to do something about it, but it seemed like the red light cameras were one of the tools that we had. If anybody else has other ideas for what other tools are available, I mean, definitely the police did not seem to appreciate or want to jump into the into the fray of having more people address speeding.
Okay, I see a member of the public wants to speak on this issue and has some kind of anecdotal information. So Ian Robertson, Ian, sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name right. Could you, Brendan, allow him to talk or?
Yep, just a moment.
Okay.
Okay, Ian, you should be unmuted.
Okay, thank you very much. Really excellent discussion. Last year, 2nd Avenue was so busy that I almost died on a crosswalk, being crushed by an MTA bus. 2 weeks ago, a cyclist was taken away by ambulance on 39th and 2nd. The last week, there was another cyclist taken away on 2nd and 40th. There was another incident at the weekend where somebody was hit at 42nd and 2nd. Speed cameras work. It's been proven, and the question is simply that we are literally seeing people getting hit every single week in 2nd Avenue, and enough is enough. We really need those cameras. And just to the point, there is a parked cop car on 39th and 2nd regularly. Cars just speed by it. It can't be an enforcement issue for police. I'm very close to the 17th precinct, and what you find is that a cop can stop maybe 6 or 7 people in an hour. A speed camera can take photos of hundreds of drivers in an hour. We need to do something as a community because people are getting injured already and they are going to die. Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing. I agree. It's scary and something needs to happen. I guess the question at this point is if we already have a resolution, what are the next steps besides trying to re-elevate it?
I could just jump in for a second. Sandy,
Yeah.
wasn't there, didn't this originate with something to do with Sutton Place?
This particular issue, yes, Sutton Place very specifically asked for a camera at 54th and Sutton Place. They asked if one could be installed there. But I think the issue was that we want them everywhere. I mean, that's one very specific area, but we do want them in even more places.
Molly, did you have something?
Yeah, I was going to ask Colleen. So the red light cameras and the speed cameras, those are both state legislators that are controlling those budgets.
Yes.
So we have, we included that in one of our budget priorities for the city, as we advise or recommend our for the city budget. But we just need to keep this as a priority, and we need to measure. It's very dangerous in our neighborhood, and it's more dangerous than it's ever been before. I agree with everyone else's comments, but we're grasping at straws trying to figure out how we can buy our own speed cameras or some just to measure it, because it is like, I don't know if people don't believe us in the state or city council, but we'll go to our state assembly, and maybe Sandy, if we can just update that resolution. I think we should write it again, restate the importance of this. It's bad.
Just a point of clarity for me, please, if I could ask Colleen. You're saying the state assembly member controls the funds for this, or is it the state legislature that legislates the limits on the cameras as a whole?
Well, it's the state legislators, and they're the ones who put a cap to it. But in order for you to, pursue this and, increase the cap, you would have to get in contact with your state assembly members.
I do think that the cap was increased, but now they're.
It was a few years ago, yes.
Right. And so are there more cameras available that we're just waiting to cite, or is it an issue that we have to increase the cap even more at this point?
I think it's an issue that you have to increase the cap more.
Okay.
Have they really reached the limit?
Oops,
Yeah,
sorry.
I think it's actually, there's two things. There's the total number that is increased, the total number of cameras of both types, and they are treated differently in the legislation, so that's important. But it's also where they are distributed. So I don't think, you know, if we had the money, we could get it. If it's not, you know, if there are no more to be allocated. We also, I think, though, need to talk, as somebody mentioned at the very beginning, of talking about what hours, because I think right now, I can't remember which, but they're only sort of operational during school days and
during the
school
school
hours,
day.
like while school is in session. And
Right.
and I think a lot of the problems are, you know, especially I would say in Midtown, honestly, traffic's back to where it was. People are doing a lot of, they may be running red lights, but there's a lot less speeding because traffic is back up. But at night, it's really a problem. And of course, at night, visibility is lower. And so if those cameras could be functional 24 hours, but that may require an even bigger change in the legislation.
Okay, Brian, we'll try to wrap this item up because I think we're all kind of on the same page here, but Brian.
Yeah, we're all on the same page. To add to what Anne said, most of what she said is correct. There is a statutory cap on the number of speed cameras that the city can install within city boundaries. It's not a very high number. DOT, I believe, has shuffled those cameras around to kind of make up for that and to make it a little less predictable. But also there's still stuff in the law about the hours of operation that Anne was mentioning. So we could petition the legislature to basically either greatly increase or remove the caps and to take restrictions off of hours for both types of cameras. We could do a resolution for this, or we could go on past resolutions that we've done. I don't know if the past resolutions say anything about unlimited cameras or just support existing bills that included statutory caps.
Larry? I think you're muted.
Okay. I think they last go around with the legislation made the hours much greater, not limited to simply school hours and school days. And in addition to that, I was wondering whether Colleen could verify whether there might be any unallocated cameras that have not yet been installed. And if that is the case, let's ask for it.
You know, Larry, I don't know if there is, and I don't know if I would be at privilege to share that information. I really don't know, you know?
But if there are any, we want to ask for them.
Well, I think I don't believe there are any. I mean, we've used all that we have in dispersing it citywide. We would not be holding extra cameras. Why would we do that?
No,
You know?
but you said that, you know, they sometimes are taken out of locations. So if
But they're
there are
added to
any
other
in storage,
locations as well. If they're being taken out from one location, they're added to another location that might be problematic, you know? We would not
well,
be
that's,
saving them.
I understand that, and I
Okay,
don't,
good.
I don't want to argue, but I would just ask you to check.
No, I think that there's a lot of clarification that needs to be made here, and we'll try to gather some more information offline. And any other questions that come up, of course, Brendan does a great job at fielding them and doing research. So Sandy, did you have another question, or did you want to make a motion?
I wanted to make a motion that we do a resolution that asks for both speed. I mean, the previous one was for red light cameras. We asked for both speed and red light cameras to be added throughout throughout our district.
Second.
Okay, Molly seconds that. So now let's take a vote on asking for more speed cameras and red light cameras in our district. Brendan, it would be great if you could do that roll call again.
Okay. So when I call your name, say aye, nay, abstain, or not entitled. Claire Brennan.
Not entitled.
Jean Santoro.
Aye.
John Berenbaum.
Aye.
B. Disman.
Aye.
Charles Fernandez.
Aye.
Okay. Andrew Gross.
Aye.
Molly Hollister.
In favor.
Yusuf Khalid. Yusuf. Is Yusuf on the call anymore? Okay. Sandy McKee.
In favor.
Phil Napolitano.
Aye.
Matt Roberts.
Aye.
Larry Shire.
Aye.
Ann Seligman.
I'm seeing her mouth eye.
Like, I don't know why it's not
Yeah.
working. I'm getting a hand instead of a pointer.
Huh.
No worries.
Brian Van Nieuwenhoven.
Aye.
Ronnie White. Hey, Ronnie is here. I'll get back to Ronnie in a moment.
Sorry about that. Aye.
No problem. Bob Cohen is not here. And James Wilson. Okay, he's on mute, but I see his mouth saying I or moving to I. So the resolution passes. Yep, the resolution passes.
Sorry, thank you, Brendan. That's great. Is someone?
So not for nothing, but you Google where are the speed cameras in New York. It's not hard to find out. They are not a big secret.
Does someone want to write this resolution? Molly is raising her hand. Thank you.
What was your vote again? It was I, correct, James?
Yes.
Perfect. And if you don't mind, great. Okay, so Molly offered to write the resolution, and it seems like there's some easily Googleable information that could support you, but I think Colleen might be able to help as well. We are going to go to the next agenda item, which is a discussion of an open street application for East 36th Street between the Tunnel Approach Street and First Avenue. I actually have to admit I'm not as well versed on this topic in particular, but I'm pretty sure, was it Sandy who made an application for this open street and it was denied? And we're wondering, maybe Colleen has a little bit more information about exactly why it was denied. Or Sandy, you could chime in too if you have.
I'm sorry, Sandy, did we get back to you why this location was denied?
No.
So how do you know it's denied?
We made 2 applications, and one we received an approval for, and we moved forward and did it. The other one we received no information.
Okay, can you send me an email after the meeting and I'll find out the status for that location?
Okay, certainly.
Thank you very much.
I believe it was back in May.
Oh, okay. I'll find out what happened, okay?
Thank you.
Thanks, Andy.
So I think that is set for that agenda item.
I'm sorry, just for the minutes, you said 36 between first and the tunnel entrance?
Yeah,
It's
Molly, did you?
it's 36 east of the tunnel entrance, so between First Avenue and the tunnel entrance. But you know, as you're entering the tunnel, east of that is
Isn't
basically.
that just a park there? Isn't there?
Well, that was what I wanted to comment. So that is mostly direct Amazon and Fresh Direct, and you know, unloading is just like just free, and some cops. Yeah, so it's just free parking for a lot of people, and it's not used for traffic. So the St. Barton's Park, it's our Parks Committee, is dealing with the whole redesign of the park. They're trying to figure out, they're adding the blacktop is being astroturfed. They're all concerned about where they're going to, their kids are going to learn to bike and use their scooters. So that just is the perfect spot, this underused street that, you know, is empty, and there's a little bit of a staging area there now for a water main project. It'll leave it'll be gone soon. It just makes sense. And that project, the Parks project, is scheduled to start in November. So, you know, I don't know if that's true or how much of the Parks project will start in November, but the construction will start in the next several months. So there's some urgency there to get these kids space. It's really a heavily used park, you know, all the blacktop and the playground. They're trying to push recommend the bikes and the scooters go in the small little playground area. So it's kind of, it doesn't work. And this just seems like a great solution. If we could pilot this open street there, maybe, you know, future can be you know, a truly like a nicer activated space there rather than just a street that's, you know, being used. But anyway, there's a lot of potential, and since DOT has this test program, this open streets, I'm really hoping to take advantage of that and get those PTA of 116 and 281 are very excited about it. Initially, I think the capacity when Sandy filled out this application many months ago, they didn't have the capacity to volunteer, but now they're saying we're all in, we'll help, we'll, you know, put barricades up, whatever we need to do. They really want to help. So it'd be great to we have support of the families and parents, the schools, and you know, our community board. So
Colleen, is there a time frame for when you can get back to us on what the status of that application is?
Yeah, you know what? Sure, I can get an answer for you tomorrow, because I'm surprised we didn't respond. And Sandy mentioned this was submitted in May. So I'm a bit confused here. I will definitely get an answer tomorrow. I'll find out.
Thank you, Colleen.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, Sandy, again, send me the email and let me know exactly when you applied, okay?
Oh, I'll try and dig it out.
Okay.
It was, you know, COVID central at the time.
Yeah, I'd love to know what happened.
I will.
Thanks, Sandy.
I did see a member of the public wanted to speak on this issue. Erica Rand Silverman, is that still the case, or?
Yes. Well, there are a couple of people expressing that, you know, opinions about the open street. There's Erica, and then there's Richard Toledo, who is opposed to, it sounds like is opposed to the open street. So I can, if you'd like me to let Erica speak, I can do that. Just give me a moment.
Can you clarify? I think Richard might misunderstand where we're talking about. I wish we could maybe screen share a map or something. It's just it's just that small chunk next to the park. It's not a full street. And it would be a shared street too, to say, you know, I don't know if it's depending on what the final outcome, it could be an open street or a shared street. So just, I see Richard's comments there that he's asking about. It's to the tunnel entrance. You're still able to go through the tunnel, enter the tunnel there, is what we're asking for. It wouldn't block off the tunnel entrance.
Is a good clarification. Thank you, Molly. And
Hi, this is Erica. I feel like Molly said everything that I wanted to say. So thank you, Molly. But as parent, as a representative of parents, at 116, when they do close off that blacktop, the kids are not going to have any place to do those things that they do on the blacktop. And so that extra space would be really, really important for us.
thank you for joining and affirming the need for this. So Colleen's going to do some research for us and get back to us, and we'll share with you all what we find out. And now I think we have a report from Colleen, anything that she wants to share with us.
So I have one thing, which is the Second Avenue gap. I have to tell you, we are moving forward in October with the implementation. We had some other projects that we needed to complete in September, so that's been done. So promise, October is the implementation. And I had emailed the board the revised What's Happening Here flyer. I sent it to the elected officials. And I sent it to the local precinct as well, and to the bids. So there's no changes with that timeline. So that's the only update I have for the community board.
Thanks, Colleen.
Oh, and the last thing is that we've been really working very hard with the schools, with the outdoor learning. We've worked with 2 schools in your district, and I want to say that, we've been accommodating. We've helped the schools a lot with their social distancing. So we'll continue to do that and monitor the 2 schools that we're working with in your district.
Okay, thanks, Colleen. I think some members of the public have some questions.
Sure.
And I also had a follow-up, but I did want to thank you publicly for working out the city bike placement issue that Joan was liaising. I think folks from her building are really ecstatic that was all worked out, and I think everyone's happy with that issue. So thank you so
Great,
much.
thank you.
Mayor, before you move on to the public, I think Asia had a question.
Yeah, I'm seeing Azia and Larry, and I also wanted to follow up. One question that we had from last time, and I'm kind of curious about it still. We know that it's like non-toxic paint, the green and red paint that goes in the lanes, but I was wondering if you had any more information about what the specific materials are in there, in case anyone's allergic to that, or.
Sure, Claire. And you know what? I think my comment last time was to submit a FOIL request for that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm more than happy. I can give Brendan the information.
It's okay.
My colleague in litigation division, I'll give Brandon her contact information to submit a FOIL request to get that information. Okay.
Thank you very much. I remember that actually now. So Larry had a question.
Very, very worried about whatever's in that paint. If we got to submit a FOIL request to find out what the ingredients is. Okay, never mind.
Well, you know what? My office is nearby Broadway when we were painting it, and I'm still here. So
thank God we're all wearing masks. Right?
I know, right? I hope we don't have to anymore. I'm tired of wearing masks.
Larry, you have a question?
Yes. Hi, Colleen. On the Second Avenue improvement, thank you very much for moving this forward. We had a representative at the Land Use Committee meeting who was involved with the water main project, and he looks forward to working with you cooperatively so that if there are any kind of temporary relocations of the lane as they do their work, that this protected lane will be kept intact for the entire length.
Oh, yes, Larry, and thanks for that reminder. We do have a call with DDC liaison this week to talk about the implementation. So,
wonderful.
Yes, we do.
Asia had a question.
I had a really quick question, Colleen. Thanks for the update on helping the schools increase their social distancing ability to do social distancing. Can you just mention which schools is?
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to email Brandon the 2 locations. I'll have him share it with you.
Brandon, can you share that with the Health and Education Committee? Because this came up at our meeting last month or earlier this month. So I think they'd be just curious to hear, because we had the PTA come from some of the schools asking for some help.
Sure, I can send that to Brandon when I
Thank
get
you.
off. You're welcome.
Great.
Okay, I think that's all for Colleen. Thank you for being here again and for taking our questions. I think the next item on the agenda is my report, which will be brief, I promise. One kind of important and significant announcement is that in November, this committee will be renamed to be Public Safety and Transportation. Matt Roberts and I will be co-chairing this committee, and Jean will continue to support in his role as vice chair. After several inquiries and conversation, there was a clear need to reinstate the topic of public safety to this board, and transportation made the most sense at this time. This move will hopefully support a more active and prosperous relationship with both precincts that serve our board and the community as a whole. So I'm really excited to be working with Matt and continuing to work with Jean on these topics. And November will be the first meeting with public safety added to the name of this committee. So that's an exciting update to share with you all. I already thanked Colleen for acting swiftly to help Joan. Another really quick thing that I want to say is that Larry had sent me an article about taking the subway and how it's, safe in terms of coronavirus. So I can circulate that too. I didn't realize that the whole committee didn't receive that, but there's no proven link that associates mass transit and the spread of COVID. As ridership increased, COVID cases did not. Folks are wearing masks and practicing social distancing for the most part, and really keeping to themselves on their commute. So there's not like this transfer of particles. So the article did say that what you do at the end of the trip affects the probability of contracting the virus. So if you haven't heard this, wash your hands, people. But I want to kind of encourage us all to consider taking the subway and the bus instead of, Ubers or rideshare or our own personal vehicles, because it really isn't unsafe. And tell your friends as well. Because and thanks Larry for sharing that article, and you may have something to add too. You can.
Yes, the author of the study was Sam Schwartz, who was our guest last month.
Right. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's pretty promising, but I think that funding and money in the subway is really low right now, so they could use all the support that they can get. So that is all for my report here. I'm wondering if anyone has old or new business to share. No, I don't think so. I'm not seeing any virtual hands or real hands. So
move to adjourn.
Jean moved to adjourn, and
second.
Molly seconded it. So if there are no objections, we will adjourn this meeting. Seeing no further business, the meeting is adjourned at, gotta say, pretty great 8:15. Thank you everyone for keeping your comments short and sweet. It's great to see you. And we will see you in the Public Safety and Transportation Committee next month, but full board before then. So thanks again. Have a good night.
Thank you. Good